All right, everyone, big news in the SEO space. A study just came out that basically tells us how LLM SEO works. And it's paired up with another study that I mentioned here, I think last week, that Ahrefs did, which basically told us that 1/3 of the pages that are cited on ChatGPT don't even show up on Google. So let me go over this one first and then this one, because it's super interesting, and this stuff, these big news, will dictate how I and my clients are doing SEO moving forward. So here's what I mean. As you know, right, when we are searching for stuff on Google, right, it is the classic search engine where you have a search box, right, and you search for something, and then there's a bunch of results. First result, second, third, and whatever, right, until the 100th result, which nobody goes to, nobody reads, right? But with LLMs, and if you've used ChatGPT before, you know how this is how it works, right? So this is the LLM part of it, right? And these are the Googles and Bings of the world, right? The classic search engines. Well, with LLMs, right, you prompt it with something and then it gives you an answer. You prompt it again, it gives you another answer, right? And you prompt it back and forth until the answer you have is good enough to satisfy whichever was the intent of the very first prompt. Now, the main difference with these ones, and trust me, this is all gonna line up with these and this, which is very big news, which is sort of not that big news because I've been mentioning this slightly over the past few months, but regardless, how you used to do it in the past is that you search for something, right, and you go in, click and read through the blog post, right, and then maybe the second result is like a YouTube video, so you click it and you watch through the YouTube video, and then maybe the third result is like a Reddit post where then you go in and skim through the Reddit comments, right, then based off of the info you read, the info you watched and the comments you read, you take your conclusions and maybe you buy the product or whatever, complete the intent of your search, regardless of what the intent was, okay? On LLMs, for example, ChatGPT, you prompt it with something, right? And if the prompt is something like, for example, let's say here, best gardening kits for beginners, right? Now, this prompt, the intent behind this search prompt, right, is the same behind the search prompt. For example, I'm a woman and just got divorced and want to get into gardening for the first time. What kits do you recommend? So basically, even though you can basically say the same thing in a prompt in a million different ways. So regardless of the prompt you use, right, what this will do is the LLM will try to find the intent of your prompt. And in this case, the intent is, okay, this is a person that's a beginner gardener looking for gardening kits. So regardless of the prompt you use, in the infinite ways you can say the same things, right? You will essentially take that prompt and deconstruct it in multiple keywords that satisfy the search intent of this prompt right here, and essentially place them on Google and do web search to find places that talk about it and recommend, in this case, a product. So the work that you used to do manually, like searching right here and reading through the blog posts, watching the videos, skimming through the Reddit comments, whatever, the whole work you used to do manually, now the LLM does it for you automatically, and then based on all of his search, right, gives you the answer in a concise manner in a little paragraph. The good thing about these LLMs is that they just save you a bunch of time. Again, they do all the research for you. They click here, read the blog post, click an internal link, they go to a different blog, which then recommends a product page, then read a review on YouTube, and then a review on Trustpilot. They compile all that info, they brought all these sites, and then give you the info in a silver platter. Now, the fun part is where this study referred was that nearly 1/3, right, 1/3 of the pages that are cited right here in these answers, right, don't even get any human traffic, okay? Meaning that even if you're ranking on the 100th position, right, and no actual human will go here, well, the LLM, the AI can still go there, right? Based off of the prompting, right, based off of if it thinks that to find the best answer for your prompt, that it needs to go to the 100th page, then it will. So that's the very first part of this video. And I haven't even gone over the second one, which is the most important. Point is that even if you don't rank on Google, even if you get 0% human traffic, so in theory no human is going to read this, well, LLMs can still go through it, read through it, and then show that info in the answer to the human. So on a first instance, when, yes, sure, you might think it's kind of pointless to be ranking on the 100th page because no human will read it. Well, not directly, but indirectly, right? The AI LLMs can go there, can read that info, and then show that info to the human. So that's pretty cool. Again, this is what Ahrefs study found. Again, 1/3 of the cited pages on Google's or on GPT have zero organic search presence. So this is happening right now. 1/3 of the times, 1/3 of the citations are pages that don't even have human traffic. So that's pretty cool. That gives you some perspective in the sense that yes, you still need to be producing content. Now, the second part of this was this study right here from Profound, where I'll link the original post down below. It's a huge data study with a bunch of nuance. But the most important thing is what I'm about to tell you right here. In essence, there's, of course, a high correlation between how high you rank on Google and how well you perform on these LLMs. Right? So we know this. Okay. Again, correlation doesn't mean causation. Just because you rank on Google's first position doesn't necessarily mean you're going to rank first on or be mentioned first on GPT for a prompt that has the same search intent of the keyword you search for up on Google. Hopefully that makes sense. Again, correlation, not causation. Now, the cool part is that if you rank first on Google for a keyword, for example, like best gardening kit for kids, right? If you rank first on here, well, again, most likely the correlation again, you'll likely to rank or be mentioned, or cited first for a search prompt that has the same search intent of this keyword. So for example, you most likely are going to be mentioned first for stuff like, hey, my kid's birthday is next week. He wants to get into gardening. What should I get him? So again, there's a billion different ways of saying this stuff, but again, the intent behind this prompt is basically the same intent behind this prompt right here. Best gardening kit for kids. Hey, my kid's birthday is next week. He wants to get into gardening, so he's a beginner because he just now wants to get into it. What kit should I get him? Okay. Now, again, most likely if you rank first for this, you're going to be mentioned first for this. Now, the cool thing about this, what this study found, is that for the second prompt, right, they call this query fanout because basically with these LLMs, you're fanning out the queries. You're basically asking it and prompt it over and over again. Again, this is like a funnel. You prompt it, answer, prompt, answer, prompt, answer, until you have like the final answer. The cool thing is that for the second prompt, right, because you are already mentioned and cited first for this keyword, right, if they ask something completely different, again, in the same idea, if you don't show up at all for that keyword on Google, doesn't matter. In most of the cases, you're still going to be cited. For example, let's say, for example, it recommends a bunch of products, then you say, yeah, these look great, but I'm looking for something, I don't know, let's say above $1,000. I don't know. This all makes sense. Now, the intent behind this keyword is, okay, where can I buy a beginner garden kit for kids that's above $1,000? It's quite expensive, right? And let's say you don't rank on Google for any keyword that could possibly be like squeezed from this. Like, what keywords can you squeeze from this for? Like $1,000 kid gardening kit or luxurious gardening kit, whatever, you get the point. There's no keyword that you can extrapolate from this that you rank for on Google for this. That said, for whichever reason you have a page on your site, a little page or a product page for the little gardening kit that for whichever reason is $1,000, okay, 1,000, right? And it's made for kids for whichever reason. Again, this is just an extreme example, but surely you can apply this to your niche. And this is not just about e-commerce. This applies to any business, like SaaS, local business, agency, whatever, right? Again, let's say, for example, you have a page on your site for a gardening kit that, I don't know why it's $1,000, right? And this page is nowhere to be seen on Google. Maybe it ranks on the 100th page, maybe, right? Because your domain, was already cited once, first, for any other prompts that that this user keeps on iterating back and forth with the AI, because you were already cited before, correct me if I'm wrong, you can read the study, you're 67.3% more likely to be cited again, even though you don't show up near the first page on Google. So that's pretty cool, right? This tells you that you should be producing content for one, right? Even though it doesn't rank because you still have the chance to being mentioned. And then if you're mentioned, right, if people keep on iterating because you were mentioned once the first time, right, you are much more likely to be mentioned again, even if you don't show up, or even if you're not, I mean, you have to be indexed, but even if you don't show up at all. Why? Because the AI has the context of this brand that it recommended the first time, and so then it's going to go to your site again, skim through the product pages, see if for any reason there's a page for a $1,000 plus kit. So you increase your chances of being mentioned more and more as you go down the funnel if you were mentioned in the beginning. So that's pretty cool. Again, I'll link the study down below. There's this whole table that has the whole values about the query fanouts. I'll link the whole study down below. It's quite long, but that's basically the gist of it. It's pretty cool to see, and we're starting to see more of a, I guess, of a division in the classic SEO and the AI or LLM SEO, which again, there's a lot of correlation, no causation, and again, it's pretty cool to see. That doesn't necessarily mean that if you rank 100th that you won't be cited. No, you can be cited. So that's it. That's the latest, I guess, big news. If you want more videos like this, just let me know in the comments. And if you do me a huge favor and comment the words "big news," that'll be amazing because it will help YouTube's algorithm push this out to more people. So yeah, do me that huge favor, write the comment saying "big news," and I guess since you're here, please also like and subscribe. And you might as well just click here to watch this other video because it's super insightful and it goes a bit more deeper with actual tangible examples on AI SEO. That's it. Cheers.